Giancarlo Stanton is slow, can't run, and is now basically banned from playing in the outfield. He's been considered a playoff hero for the Yankees, yet he has not once stepped onto the outfield all year long, has not hit one triple, and hasn't stolen one singular base. Giancarlo Stanton has been called out ruthlessly by the fans for at times literally jogging on the base paths, putting in little to no effort.
He cannot run.
He's even been called out by his own boss for not keeping his body healthy.
You know, we expect Giancarlo Stanton to get hurt again. That's just part of what you get.
So why is he considered a potential future Hall of Famer if he can't even stay healthy, and on certain plays he doesn't even try? That's because he's one of the most athletic, strongest, and powerful players in all of baseball. He may not be sprinting fast, but he currently has the fastest bat speed in baseball, is breaking records this postseason, and has been doing it his entire career. But how has someone as flawed as him won a league MVP, been to 5 All-Star games, regardless of all the setbacks? To understand the story, we need to go back to when Stanton was in high school in California, where he was a 3-sport athlete in baseball, basketball, and football. At the young age of just 16 years old is when everyone began to realize that he was going to turn into a sensation. On one day specifically, he hit a home run during batting practice that was estimated to go 450 to 475 feet. Traveling over a row of 50 feet palm trees, finally picking its landing spot in a golf course. For reference, the longest MLB home run in 2024 was 480 feet, which he really wasn't very far off of hitting. And according to NY Daily News, one of Stanton's coaches once said that Giancarlo hit a line drive so hard that it nearly decapitated both the pitcher and center fielder. When it came time for graduation in high school, he had the option of opting into the MLB draft or going to college to play both baseball and football. At the time, USC head coach Pete Carroll was recruiting Giancarlo heavily to play football as a speedy, oversized cornerback who could also play wide receiver. Giancarlo ultimately chose to pursue a career in Major League Baseball, and from there, everything changed.
Draft day was interesting. A lot of my friends and people I played against were, first couple picks, first round. I knew it was possible. There's a lot that showed interest, but you never know. Drove to my dad's house and kind of just waited, and finally I got drafted there. And then
3-2. Stanton, left field. That's deep. Go ball! Gone! Grand slam! Welcome to the show, Mike Stanton.
He hit homers, but he also wasn't handicapped defensively in the beginning of his career.
Field pretty well a hit. Stanton a long run and a reach. He got it! He got it! On the track! Stanton.
We can't forget about his call-up to the Florida Marlins when he became the 3rd youngest player in Marlins franchise history. His debut was long awaited because of the hype that was surrounding him. Giancarlo led minor league baseball with 21 home runs, was 4th in runs scored, and even 9th in batting average. The general manager of the Marlins AA club even said, "In all my years in Jacksonville, Mike Stanton was the closest I've seen to a home run hitting machine." When Stanton debuted as the number 3 ranked prospect in minor league baseball, he went 3 for 5 with 2 singles and 2 runs being scored and what was foreshadowing his future.
That first game in Philly, I'll always remember.
Giancarlo's rookie year went as successful as possible, playing in 100 games, recording 22 home runs, and even getting an .833 OPS. His 22 homers had an average distance of 399 feet with an average speed of 104 miles an hour. Leading up to him being named to the MLB All-Rookie team. But in 2011, the second year of his career, Stanton was about to break loose in his development.
Stanton got a good piece of that. It's deep, and it's gone! Wow!
He hit 30 homers and even led the entire team in WAR with 4.1, not bad at all for his first full season. And if we exclude his rookie year, the only 2 players that hit more home runs at age 21 and age 22 than Stanton was Hall of Famers Eddie Matthews and Yankee legend Joe DiMaggio. In his age 22 season in 2012, the Florida Marlins changed their name to the Miami Marlins, and Stanton even received MVP votes, finishing in 2nd place behind starting pitcher Clayton Kershaw. So, not only was Stanton solid on the base paths, great with his glove, but he was also a pure hitter. Sometime during that season, Stanton said, "I want to be a hitter. I don't want to do the whole 230 with 45 homers thing. I didn't have year-round baseball growing up, so I didn't learn how to hit. I just knew how to hit the ball hard."
Drive the left and deep. Get
This was the best we had ever seen out of Giancarlo. He was number 7 in baseball for homers with 37 of them. And not only that, he maintained a .290 batting average. And believe it or not, his defense was also really solid, ranging from around 7 to 11 outs above average. But his season still wasn't perfect, and it was actually riddled with injuries, and it lost him around 100 plate appearances, and an estimated .9 WAR. The most unfortunate part of this entire series is that his team was god-awful. They finished with a record of 69-93 for 5th place in their division, continuing their 9-year streak of missing the playoffs. And this also meant that they were going backwards as a team, losing more and more each year, and the story just kept getting worse to the point of losing 100 games in 2013. The difference in this season was the glaring decline between 2012 and 2013 for Giancarlo Stanton, making 2013 his worst season since becoming a rookie. Fangraphs had projected him to have a career year, playing a full season without any injury. Instead, he wasn't great, and a hamstring injury linked all year, leading to poor defensive play and an underachieving .249 batting average and an .845 OPS. So, was he truly that franchise player the Marlins thought they had? Everyone found out in 2014 what type of player Giancarlo Cruz Michael Stanton was.
Here's the 0-1. Stanton drives it. Left field and deep. Get out of here.
2014 was every Marlins fan's dream. They had a 15-game win improvement. Stanton had his best season yet, and Christian Yelich was becoming a superstar, making Yelich and Stanton one of the best lineup duos in baseball. And to make 2014 even more memorable, Giancarlo made it to his first ever MLB home run derby.
You notice where he's standing. He's farther off the plate than any one of the hitters. So, oh boy. Farther off the plate. Oh, this is 2/3 of the way up in the upper deck. Wow.
And he got it. He got it.
And after this, Miami decided to pull the trigger on a long-term decision with Giancarlo Stanton.
One of the best young players in baseball is about to cash in big time. He's signing one of the largest contracts in American sports history. The Miami Marlins reeling in Giancarlo Stanton with a jaw-dropping deal worth more than $300 million.
Stanton signed a deal a week after celebrating his birthday, turning 25 years old. This was of course the beginning of several great years. However, despite the duo of Stanton and Yelich blowing up baseball, the Marlins somehow failed to make the playoffs in 2014, 2015, and in 2016. But all Giancarlo wanted to do was win and make it to the postseason. His dad, Mike Stanton, said he's always wanted his at-bats to be significant and have a chance at the playoffs. Giancarlo had already accomplished so much in his own personal achievements, like winning the home run derby with 61 homers, or consistently hitting over 25 home runs in the span of 5 of 6 years. Heading into 2017, rumors began to swirl that Miami could move on from Stanton and his big contract to of course fully launch a new rebuild. Giancarlo decided to ignore the trade rumors and decided he was going to be doing something that no one had ever seen from him. Home run after home run.
Number 43. The incredible ride continues for Stanton.
Stanton certainly did not stop at 43 homers.
Driven deep. Gone. 59.
Giancarlo at 28 years old had an MLB leading 59 homers, 132 RBI, along with a 1,000 OPS. Defensively, he was a Gold Glove finalist in right field, establishing himself as the best player in baseball through the 2017 season.
In the 4th closest election in the history of MVP voting by the baseball writers, only 2 points, just 2, separated the winner from the runner-up, with Giancarlo Stanton becoming the first Marlins winner of the award.
Giancarlo Stanton was at the top of the baseball world, but his teammates were not so much. They finished 2017 away from the playoffs and somehow had more losses than the previous year. Their roster needed an overhaul, and in the midst of all of this, the Marlins sold their team to new ownership, specifically Yankees legend Derek Jeter, who wanted to completely gut the roster. So the Marlins got on the phone and had a list of potential trade candidates. As for Stanton, he didn't want to be financially secure, he wanted to win at the game of baseball with his new team, causing the Yankees to come out as his preferred scenario. It made sense for the Yankees to make the trade as well, considering they were in the market for a DH/outfielder. The only problem is that the Yankees had been obsessed over signing another DH for many years, Shohei Ohtani. They had scouted the kid since way back in 2012, and general manager Brian Cashman raved of Ohtani for years. According to an ESPN writer, the Yankees had an entire presentation planned for Shohei where they would have told Ohtani that he could pitch and DH with them. But before even getting a true chance at Ohtani, he declared that every state east of Mississippi was not in play. So, Brian Cashman saw only one more logical thing that he had to do.
Giancarlo Stanton is Big Apple bound.
Today, the Miami Marlins addressed their reasoning for trading the star slugger to the New York Yankees.
Giancarlo Stanton was joining the New York Yankees to pair him with Aaron Judge, making the two the tallest and most powerful duos in baseball, with Judge at 6'7" and Stanton at 6'6". Stanton being sent to the Yankees was also largely a decision made by Aaron Judge, with Cashman telling Judge, quote, "Hey, my job as general manager is to constantly look at every opportunity that may present itself, and this is one that is staring me in the face here that I have some interest in. I want to get your feedback on it and just how it could fit between DH, right field, and left field and the cast of characters we have," in which Aaron Judge told him to 100% make the deal. Giancarlo's dad, Mike Stanton, made clear to the media that Giancarlo could handle the pressure and expectations of playing in New York, and that he would take that over losing every year like he did in Miami.
When I signed up in Miami, I wanted things to work out, and I had a good vision there. But you know, sometimes things just spiral out of place, and you know, you have to find a new home. So.
Now, you think this is the most talented team you've ever been a part of?
Absolutely.
Right?
Even any team I've faced.
Giancarlo was joining a team that was coming off of an ALCS loss and a 91-win season, meaning that the expectations were sky high and expected nothing less of excellence. On opening day, excellence was exactly what they got.
Swung on and drilled to deep right center field. It is high, it is far, it is gone!
That was one of two Giancarlo Stanton homers that he crushed in his Yankees debut. But when he didn't deliver those high expectations on the field, Yankees fans took that personally.
Swing and a miss, and Stanton, for the first time in his career, strikes out 5 times.
When asked about how he felt about being booed, he said, "As long as I wasn't a distraction with the boos and all that, as long as I wasn't bringing the team down, then whatever." As he went through his first 37 games with his new team, he hit for a .238 batting average, but had 9 homers and 23 RBIs. You hear those numbers and it sounds exceptional, but he was hurting the team with a staggering 54 strikeouts in that time span. Luckily, that slump didn't last long, and from May 1st to August 1st, he had a .288 batting average and hit 28 bombs. His success down that stretch was essential to the 2018 Yankees. Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez were out with injury for a substantial amount of time. So Stanton stepping up was important, leading to New York becoming a 100-win team and making his playoff debut at age 29, where it went perfect.
That 6th inning, he was aboard on that triple. Now Stanton, way back. How far is this one going to fly? It is a fair ball, home run, tape measure shot.
The Yankees won that game 7-2 in an electric fashion to advance into the ALDS, where they were going to be playing their biggest rival yet.
Next stop, Boston, where the Yankees and Red Sox will rekindle the rivalry and meet in the ALDS.
Boston led the entire league with 108 wins, and while the Yankees put up a good fight, they didn't truly stand a chance. So they lost the series 3-1, and unfortunately, Stanton didn't homer one time, making his value seemingly useless. As for the season, he was good, but this was the first time that he didn't really play much defensively. Instead, he played as the team's primary designated hitter throughout most of the year. Coming off of being a Gold Glove finalist, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to have him at DH, other than the fact that their outfield was loaded with Judge, McCutchen, Hicks, and Gardner. Stanton's speed was at 69 according to Baseball Savant, putting him around average, so we can assume that they didn't have room for him. Regardless, he was still considered one of the team's best players in 2018 for stepping up when things mattered. Yet, unfortunately, in 2019, things took a turn for the worst, because in that year, Giancarlo began to enter the injury phase of his career, playing only 18 games in the regular season and missing 144 due to injury in his bicep, his knees, and even a calf injury. If he would have been healthy in 2019, the Yankees almost certainly would have won around 110 games rather than the 103 wins that they finished with. Luckily, Stanton ended up being back in time for the playoffs, but by the time the Yankees were in Game 3 of the ALCS, he was re-injured. His impact didn't go very far in the postseason either, with subpar numbers all around, leading to a Yankees loss in the ALCS to a cheating Houston Astros team. Some began to question if acquiring Stanton was even worth it, because acquiring Stanton meant the Yankees were not in on Bryce Harper or third baseman Manny Machado the free agency prior, both of whom were undoubtedly superstars for their teams. Going into 2020, Giancarlo had to prove himself to Yankees fans once again.
Drill deep to left field. Fair, it's gone. Oh, it's gone. See ya.
When Giancarlo played, he had a .288 batting average and an .887 OPS, but he only played in 23 games out of 60 in 2020 and didn't even play in the outfield one time. As for his injury, he was limited to 23 games because of a left hamstring injury that he suffered, aka the same injury from 2019. This time, it kept him out of play for about a month. One noticeable dip was his speed, going from 55 in 2019 to 25 speed in the span of 1 year, according to Baseball Savant. His time in the outfield was coming to an end. He was becoming a full-time designated hitter, and in 2021, it went perfect.
Stanton goes the other way, and the Yankees lead 6-0.
Stanton is homered again!
Stanton had the fastest bat speed in the league at 81.3 miles an hour. He recorded 35 homers, .273 average, and was the second best Yankee in OPS with .870. Contributing to the Yankees going 92-70, second place in the AL East, setting them up for a one-game wildcard series against Boston. However, by the 9th inning in the wildcard, the Red Sox were beating New York 6-1. In the final inning of that game, it was Stanton's turn to make something happen.
That one's into the other corner.
They lost the game, but Stanton looked great for a 32-year-old. However, his success wasn't going to last long and was on the brink of decline. In 2022, we saw him suffer a calf injury in May and then an Achilles injury in July, limiting him to 398 at-bats and his average dropping down to 211. In 2023, it was even worse.
Stanton strikes out, the inning's over.
Stanton did nothing well in 2023. His batting average got as low as 188 through 399 plate appearances, which was the lowest for a Yankee in a full season since 1970. His bat speed fell from 81 miles an hour to 77 miles an hour. On a career basis, he had been homering in roughly 6% of plate appearances, leaving the other 94% to be unproductive entering his older years.
Stanton would judge at first, and a swing and a miss for strike 3.
And when he wasn't playing, he was on the injured list due to his hamstring. So, was Giancarlo nearing the end of his career? According to Yankees manager Aaron Boone, Stanton could still rebound by moving around, being more athletic, and being more present on the bases. The Yankees hitting coach still had hope for Stanton, saying his preparation to come out here every day has been incredible, something I haven't seen before. And then there was general manager Brian Cashman.
Because one thing, he's injury prone, we all have lived and known that, but he's never not hit when he's playing. And this year is the first time that's happened.
The worst comment Cashman made was, quote, "Stanton is going to wind up getting injured again, more likely than not, because it seems to be a part of his game," in which Giancarlo's agent responded and had a message for all players looking to sign in New York, saying, "I think it's a good reminder for all free agents considering signing in New York, both foreign and domestic." And for Giancarlo, all he wanted to do was get back to winning, saying, "I want to help us win a championship. Obviously, if I produce the way I can, we'll be in a good spot to do that, and that's my job to do." For a player who had been on the injured list in his last 5 seasons for a total of 8 times, he had a lot of work to do. And to be completely honest, the Yankees weren't waiting around for him to get any better.
A rare trade between the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox as Alex Verdugo is heading to the Bronx.
A crowded outfield could even get more crowded with an additional Juan Soto.
Juan Soto has been traded to the Yankees along with Trent Grisham.
The outfield was now Judge, Soto, Verdugo, and even top prospect Jason Dominguez when he returned from his injury, leaving no spot whatsoever for Stanton in the outfield and making his DH spot a question mark. All he could do to prove himself was improve, and that's exactly what he did. Heading into 2024, teammate Aaron Judge said, "He's jacked, bro, it's crazy." And according to Stanton himself, "I just needed to be more mobile. A lot of setbacks last season kept me not moving the way I'd like to be." After playing in 110 games in just 2 of his 6 Yankees seasons, was he finally healthy again? Was he finally fit again? We got our answer early on in 2024. Immediately, his bat speed was back up to 80 miles an hour ahead of every MLB player. He quickly led the league in fast swing percentage with 98.4%, meaning he swings over 75 miles an hour more than anyone else. For instance, the average MLB player's swing is 72 miles an hour. Giancarlo Stanton was back.
Driven deep to left field. There it goes!
But just when everything was going perfectly,
in third, maybe pulled up a little case right after we're talking about him staying healthy, and jeez, just didn't quite look right there.
Giancarlo went on the IL with another strained hamstring, this time caused by running the bases, causing him to miss the entire month of baseball, which ended up being costly, because his first half was by far more productive, recording a .246 average, 18 homers, and 260 at-bats. Whereas in the second half, not only was he limited to 157 at-bats, but he also had a .210 batting average and 8 homers. Not to mention, he was ranked as the 284th slowest player in baseball out of 288. Regardless, he was a productive bat in 2024, especially considered to previous years. According to Baseball Savant, Stanton had a great batting run value at 81, compared to the season prior where he ranked poorly in the stat at 24. It became more obvious of how important Stanton was when you see the Yankees' 66-39 record when he was in the lineup. They finished 2024 with 94 wins, the most in the AL East, and held a spot in the divisional round of the playoffs, where Stanton made a name for himself seasonally.
High fly ball, deep left field. Back goes Melendez. Forget about it.
Giancarlo was on fire, and the team won the series against the Royals and were facing the Guardians in the ALCS. And every time the Yankees needed him to step up, he did.
A drive to deep right field.
Stanton drives one deep left center. Way back there. Giancarlo Stanton. A home run.
Giancarlo was breaking record after record, hitting 16 homers in 36 postseason games, breaking Babe Ruth's record of 15 homers in 41 postseason games. He even joined Reggie Jackson into becoming the second Yankee to hit 4+ home runs in a postseason multiple times. He set a new career strikeout record during the ALCS, not striking out in 26 plate appearances, also a new record for himself.
And that's your American League Championship Series most valuable player. I'm sure you know who it is. Where is he? Giancarlo Stanton, step on up here.
Winning that ALCS MVP was leadership that put the Yankees back into the World Series for the first time in 15 years. When it was time for Game 1, Stanton was ready.
Golfs one, way back there, scraping the sky and giving the Yankees the lead.
The ALCS MVP made his mark in that game. However, the Yankees as a whole couldn't make it to the end to championship number 28. But they aren't the only team to make it there and lose. There's a team that lost the 2023 World Series, added top free agency talent, and somehow ended a game away from making or missing the playoffs. To find out more about that team, click the video on your screen now.